Welcome, theater fans, to New Chicago Sports Entertainment Megadrome for the intra-urban all-star mixed combat extravaganza. This ludo-narrative experience is sponsored by Health Fist brand performance nutrient bars. Murder your hunger with Health Fist. And by Snuggins brand athletic punties. Snug 'em up in a pair of Snuggins. Without further ado, let's meet the stars of tonight's performance. First, weighing in at 185 pounds and swinging a mean hammer fist, the current Chicago Wrestling Police Forensic Division champion, the bastard in a basket, Detective Clint Hacker Jr. And his partner, the bad boy of the bayou, with gators for the haters, 270 pounds of knuckles and chuckles. It's Florida's own Deputy Jake Trapper. Next, weighing none of your goddamn business and already tired of your loose cannon antics, the administrative Attila, Lady Justice herself, Wrestling Police Commissioner Moira Stamp. And from St. Jude's Parish, Chicago, by way of County Mayo, Ireland, weighing 190 pounds, including wheelchair, the pastor of disaster, Monsignor Clint Hacker Sr. And finally, your villain of the evening, from parts unknown and by means unimaginable, the death-cheating, champion-defeating, stealthily retreating snake charmer of lore, Sinister Bryce Dagger! All right, folks, hold on to your punties and let's get ready to wrestle!
Hacker! I can't wrestle without him! And the league doesn't have an event to promote if I can't wrestle!
I don't give a damn about your missing underwear, gang. I got to stay on top of security of the whole goddamn wrestling league. I'm not about to make some secret copies my top priority.
You don't have a choice, Hacker! I spoke with the commissioner, and she says she's putting you on the case right away!
Oh, bullshit she did! I'm going to march into her office right now and find out what kind of horseshit's going on here.
That's a lot of shit, Hacker!
Glass houses, kid. Now beat it. This ain't gonna be a group session. What the fuck is this shit about me running a laundry recovery service? And what the hell is he doing here?
And a good morning to you too, Detective. Let's handle one question at a time, shall we? You are to make finding Liu Deng's Ponties your top priority because I judge it to be the most urgent case for the Wrestling Police Bureau at the moment. And because I am your boss at the moment. Although we both know how precarious your police employment can be, don't we?
Hey! You don't need to laugh at that, Trapper! You of all people!
Alright, I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm not.
Now that you're reacquainted, I'll address the second question. Special Agent Jake Trapper is here by my request to assist you with the investigation. This arrangement is not open to discussion.
Why him? Why some snake wrangling, Steve Irwin aping motherfucker have to do with a case of missing Ponties?
Zoological field expert on loan from the FBI, if you please, Hacker. A bit more prestigious than Bounce Chicago beat cop getting by on favors, if you ask me.
Oh, you cocky son of a bitch. I should push you through the wall. Maybe they'll knock that smarm out that greasy-ass mug of yours.
Well, I'd like to see you try, Dust Junkie. I saw the mosquitoes tougher and bigger than you.
Oh, that's it. We're doing this right now.
Boys! That is enough! I expected there to be some friction between the two of you, given your history, which is why I'm using my outdoor voice to tell you to put your goddamn dicks away and do your goddamn jobs. Starting right now. Trapper, fill Hacker in on the specifics.
Yes, ma'am. Hacker, the Pawnees are part of a pattern the commissioner has noticed over the last few months. Things missing or reappearing, signs of trespassing, strange injuries and
You
illnesses.
think I'm not helping my job here?
Now, Hacker, the commissioner here tells me you've been a real shining star on the force, keeping all the usual crooked shit in check. But this stuff, if she's right, ain't the usual crooked shit. This kind of spooky stuff that nearly did us in on the last case.
We don't know that for sure.
Oh, but you're sure enough to bring me in.
And to pull me off a mountain of cases to go chase sweaty underpants.
As you know, I am a big fan of prudence and forbearance. This is merely insurance against the worst case scenario.
I hope you're not saying,
It's just a possibility.
oh, fucking snakes again.
Fucking snakes again.
Fucking snakes again.
Ten years ago, I was a young cop in Chicago working the dirty gambling scene. Match fixing, unlicensed fights, chickens, pit bulls, you name it. All the crooked, corrupt, and filthy business that you can imagine, and probably a lot more that you can't. I landed my first big case as a detective when I was sent to investigate suspected poisonings in the underground luchador circuit. Turned out, they were all dropping from snake venom, but the coroner couldn't figure how. And that's when I got assigned a partner, a snake specialist sent up from Florida. A real cocky son of a bitch, but he seemed to know his stuff. A few weeks of digging landed us a good lead on a mysterious drifter who'd been winning more fights and leaving more bodies than any honest man should. We had him pinned down to a squat outside of town, and after watching him for a while, I figured I was ready for a big collar. But before the backup arrived to take him in, my partner bolts out, makes a beeline for the perp, yelling bloody revenge, and swings the biggest knife I've ever seen. I start after him, partly to keep him from getting himself killed, but mostly to keep that hot-headed idiot from ruining my collar. Well, it turned out the perp could handle himself pretty well. Banged Trapper up pretty good, and he gave us a slip. Trapper never showed up to the debrief. I caught all the heat for screwing up the investigation. Pretty soon it became quite clear I wasn't going to go far in Chicago PD with that kind of mark on my record. And that's when I took a job to come over to the Wrestling Police Bureau of Investigations. Seems the commissioner took a shine to my work. It's alright, mostly Mickey Mouse shit. But no one's tried to shoot me yet, and it's a clean shop. I wonder though sometimes, maybe my father was right. Maybe I should have stayed in seminary school after all. Maybe when I bounce off this job, I'll go back. Catholics are big on second chances. And the brothers never asked me to find their missing goddamn Ponties for them. So you think someone's trying to hustle their poison and black magic into your league? Our old friend?
Or a copycat, I'm not sure. If it's the same person, maybe they're looking for revenge against you and Trapper. So you need to watch each other's backs and keep each other in check. We don't need this thing turning into a goddamn disaster. Trapper, you do everything by the book. And Clint, please be careful. I can't replace you on short notice.
Dad, you here?
So, think your dad got some clues for us? I didn't figure him for the panty stealing type.
Candy Trapper, I just want a little advice from my old man before I take on this case. If I'd done that more often, my life would be a lot less shitty than it is.
I'm sure you'd find a way to be miserable irregardless.
Eerie? That's not even a word.
I'm just fucking with you.
Of course. Dad, you here?
Maybe he's out tending the flock, christening a new streetcar or something.
Watch it, Trapper. You're on his turf. Anyway, he's supposed to be here. I'll check in the rectory, see if he left a note or anything.
Rectory? Damn near killed him!
No! Just no.
So you still thinking of following in your father's footsteps? Becoming a priest? You do have a maybe you should put it to good use.
Maybe. When I dropped out of seminary school to join the academy, I think I was pushing back against him to be my own man. Since then, well, maybe being like him isn't such a bad thing after all. He always says grace was a better path than justice. Sounds a little less crazy every day.
Now, how's a wise man like that get a stubborn bastard like you for a son?
He adopts him.
Right! Bastard in a basket! Makes a lot more sense like that, what with the priest thing.
You're a quick study, aren't you?
I got my redeeming features. So, are we gonna start doing our jobs or wait around here another few hours to have tea and biscuits with your pops?
All right, let's get out of here. I'll catch. Wait a minute. Here we go. Found a note.
Well, what does it say?
It's blank. No, wait. Something's coming through.
What are
Dear
you talking about?
Detective, I regret to inform you that your father, Monseigneur Clint Sr., is presently unavailable to chat, as I require him for a personal audience. I do not intend to harm him, but if you attempt to interfere with our meeting, I may see it fit to destroy him for the benefit of your education. Good luck with your parties investigation. I hope you do not fail so soon as to deny me the sporting amusement I have come to expect from you and your enthusiastic colleague. Hello, Jake. Most sinister regards, sincerely, Bryce Dagger.
So what does the note say?
Let's go see the commissioner. I'll explain on the way.
Clinton! Clinton! Are you awake? Can you hear me? Oh, I hope I didn't use too much of this.
Where am I? What happened? Who are you?
I know you haven't seen this face before, but surely you can recognize an old friend. After all our time spent together, you just have a sense.
No. Bryce! Why, it's been 40 years. I haven't meddled with you. What is the reason for this? Why now?
I'm sure 40 years feels long to you now, old man. After all those ages immune to the passage of time, untouched by the crumbling weakness of a natural body. Don't you miss it? Secretly being a god among men, a titan, growing ever stronger and more vital!
No, Bryce. There isn't a day that goes by I don't regret making my pact. I was crazy to make that deal with the devil. Crazy by anger, fueled by vengeance.
And now, you're not still mad about me killing your brother then? I mean, it was over 2 centuries ago and a fair fight. I don't mean to belittle your grievance, of course.
I gave up on that fire a long time ago. Mortality is a way of forcing priorities upon you, you know. Or maybe you don't. In my case anyway, when I had all the time in the world, I was more than happy to dedicate it all to hunting you down, to settling the great score. But the closer death came, the less I care to hold on to scores. I'm concerned about my accounts with greater parties,
Ugh! You almost sound like I gave you some great gift, a merciful release. When I swatted you down like the angry boy you were, when I handed you defeat and nullified your diabolical agreement, are you sure you don't miss the prospect of eternal life just a little bit? Are the grapes really that sour?
I miss being ignorant of you and your whole cursed saga. Anyway, I wagered another bet on immortality, but with a more reputable house. And better terms.
Well, if I had the power to whisk you back in time, plop you back in your family hovel in Ireland, and leave you to starve or die of cholera or whatever it is you people were doing back then, I would gladly oblige. But time travel wasn't in my contract negotiations, unfortunately. interesting, though. I heard of the most corruptible shaman in Serbia.
Are you going to talk to me to death, Bryce? Because I would prefer a bullet if you have any.
Oh, I would never. How artless. How common. No matter. I will not kill you with words or bullets or anything else, dear Clinton. I just want to talk to you about the end. I find your predicament so fascinating. I think I could benefit greatly if you would share with me your perspective on a few matters.
You're afraid, aren't you, Bryce? Losing faith in yourself? Wondering how long you can keep going without your luck running out, perhaps? Or maybe some young hero with something to prove. A little bit faster, a little bit hungrier, a little more devious. We'll catch up to you, and it will be the final curtain on the fantastical tale of the sinister Bryce Dagger, huh?
My faith in myself has only grown stronger and with an abundance of good reason, Clinton. My journey has become a bit more complicated and, if you can give me some credit, a good deal more interesting. I believe I am on the cusp of discovering the exit to my prison and beyond it, a greater freedom than any man has known.
Man, that Dagger fella, so far up his own ass, you can probably see what he had for breakfast. Well, I figured y'all might enjoy a little exposition and monologue to change up the pace a bit. So here's a little rundown on old Jake Trapper. A long time ago, about 70 years, give or take, I was just a child of nature, living by the Suwannee River and exploring all of God's creatures under the Florida sun. It was a wonderful life, to coin a phrase, but didn't provide much in the way of living in the pecuniary sense. As much as I fancy myself the self-sustaining type, there is only so much gator a man can eat before its thoughts turn to gainful employment. So I asked my zoological mentor, Bayou Williams, fine man who lived just up the river. I said, how might a man of my skills and learning make a little money? He said he knew a fella done very well for himself, renting out his expertise to Uncle Sam and figuring out how so many federal witnesses have found their way into the bellies of our local wildlife. Being a man of simple needs and no small sense of civic pride, a handsome reward for helping Johnny Law was quite appealing. So I asked Bayou Williams, I said, do you know of any such enterprises around here to which I may attach myself? Well, he said he knew a fella that done very well for himself, and lately there's just been grumbling of foul play down at the pit fights of late. Now, pit fighting, to the uninitiated, is a sporting contest at the bottom of a 10-foot pit, dug so as to obscure the proceedings from the view of the wider public, whose attention may be prejudicial to the continuance of said proceedings. As you may imagine, this discretion offered a great diversity of divertissements, most notably snake fighting. Now, snake fighting ain't just snakes. It's two tough and crazy hombres and their scaly tag team partners fighting side by side. Not to the death, not by design anyway, but not far from it neither. And the participants and supporters of these contests valued their integrity greatly, which is why they were quietly offering a generous sum to whoever figured out how some out-of-nowhere upstart managed to win every match he entered. They called him the Wizard. Said he charmed snakes and put a hex on his opponents. Standard moonshine drinking logic, I assume. That is until I saw him fight. And damned if he and that snake weren't as coordinated as switch trains. And the both of them looked like they were having fun at it. Like he made that snake evil. Well, I was barely started into my own detectives when an unfamiliar face showed up at my door flashing a badge that read, Detective Clint Hacker, Chicago PD. This was before Junior came along, He was just Clint Hacker, too cool. He was curious about this wizard character too, though. He wasn't too keen on sharing why. Soon enough, things got turned so upside down, he had to tell me his whole believe it or not epic, just so I could figure out which way was up again. Anyhow, that's starting into a whole other chapter of my intriguing biography. That's not the tale you came to hear. So I'll get you back to the matter at hand.
Do you fancy yourself the first clever upstart to devise an escape from the deal with the devil?
No! I have more perspective than that, Father Clinton. I fancy myself the first clever upstart to devote centuries of tireless work and brilliant thinking to discovering the secrets of a natural immortality. The first to use the swelling expense of lifetimes, not to make war, nor amass riches, nor to feast or bathe in carnal pleasure, but to find a path back to Eden.
Oh, your little snake friends. They have a rather tarnished reputation around Eden. I'm not sure that they're the best guides to lead you back in.
They provide me with eyes and ears in every corner. They extend my reach to every shadows and crevasse most inaccessible. They serve me faithfully to my great quest, and their bodies. They have taught me the most astounding tricks, the first you have already witnessed.
Oh, did they teach you how to be one long asshole?
Your spite is delicious. I worried your redemption would harm your sense of humor. But no, I speak of their ability to shed their skin, a quality most useful to someone with as much need for evasion and dissimulation as I. No more masks, no more hiding in the shadows. I can walk boldly now, unhidden, and after every shocking conquest, after every outrage, I can transform myself and leave the roofs to chase a visage I no longer wear. What's so funny now, Clinton? Or have your faculties started to go?
You. You chose that face, you dumb son of a bitch?
Enough! I was hoping this meeting would be more civil, you having found religion and all. But if you're going to be like that, I'll just jump into it then. The great vitality of the snake's body, resistant to disease, unharmed by the poison hell within itself, renewing its own flesh. These were the signs of an essence, of a great indomitable vigor that I have identified, gathered, refined, and now nearly perfected. Yes, Clinton! All joking aside, the snake conceals within it the key back to Eden, and by the most forbidden knowledge, I will soon grasp that key.
So what's your play here, Bryce? Are you gonna offer me another shot at immortality under your command? I'm not interested. I spent the last 40 years trying to atone for my betrayal of the proper order of things, and I feel I still have a debt to work off.
Oh no! I wasn't going to share. Immortality is for winners. Don't you know? It says so right here in our contract. The signer will acquit himself victoriously in any contest, and any law shall render the state of natural mortality void.
I know what my damned contract said.
Didn't you think it odd that the contract didn't forfeit our souls? That's what all the stories said, that the devil would take your soul in exchange for favors.
Maybe the devil is sharp enough to know that if you give a man enough free time, he'll damn himself. That's what I like about having a finish line. I only have to resist temptation for another few years.
Do you think I'm damned? Or are you just trying to spook me?
If anyone's damned, it's you. But I pledge to believe that no one is hopeless. Mysterious stuff, Salvation.
Quite! And this brings me to the reason for this little reunion, you see. Soon, I will have no need for the violence, the destruction, the macabre and diabolical machinations I committed in fulfillment for so many centuries. I want a new start, fresh and clean. I want absolution. And you, Monseigneur, are the only friend I have in the absolution business.
There's some Unitarians across the street who will take anyone. I even hear that there's a forgiveness app now.
But it cannot be anyone else but you! Don't you understand? If anyone else heard my story, they would think of me a mad fool. A man guilty of something, but certainly none of the fantastical acts I claim. But you, Father Clinton, you can hear my confession and know that every word I say is true and grant me a forgiveness that will be more than just empty and condescending words.
And if I doubt your sincerity, if I know you will be as wicked under your own power as you were under his,
You cannot deny me, Clinton. It is not your sacrament to withhold. You said it yourself. You have pledged to believe that no one is irredeemable. Consider this a test of your vows. I've always been good at providing that.
this will be a good time for some hints. Anything? Nothing?
Well,
Fuck it, let's get this over with.
magnificent.
Where the hell have you two been? I've got a 5-alarm emergency on my hands, and both my lead investigators are AWOL.
We got a new problem. In fact, I got a new problem, and it beats yours by a country mile.
Trapper, what the hell is he talking about?
Well, we were conducting some off-site investigating and
You don't need to cover for me, Jake. I went to see if my old man could talk me out of taking this stupid case.
He always did have more sense than you. How is the Monseigneur?
Kidnapped. That's how he is. By that circus freak we chased 10 years ago. And he's wise to the Ponty's investigation and the Trapper's involvement. I'm starting to think we're all getting played here.
And how do you know all of this?
He left some kind of Harry Potter telegram. I can't explain it. The words just magically appear.
I couldn't see any writing on it. I guess you could say it was an exclusive pay-per-view.
No, you couldn't say that, because that'll make you sound like an asshole!
I can't even. Fine, whatever you say. I expected there to be some unknown risks to this case, and I'm sorry it hit so close to home for you. But you can't bail out on the Ponty's case now. It's too important. And besides, if Dagger's behind it all, then maybe getting to the bottom of the Ponty's case might be your best bet at solving the kidnapping too.
She's got a point, Hacker. I mean, what else have we got to go on? Maybe we just play along for now until we get a break. Then we do things your way.
I am not playing anyone's game here. Not with my family as a betting chip. He's all I got.
Hacker, I'm not asking you to play any games, but I will insist that you do your job. I'll give you everything you need, and of course I'll do what I can about your father. And just in the time it took for your little field trip to St. Jude's, the case has gotten more urgent.
How's that?
Well, the Ponty's turned up, no thanks to you two. They were left on Liu Deng's dressing table. Now luckily I told him to leave them alone and notified me if that happened. We still might be able to get some secrets out of them. I have a feeling they also have some secrets to tell us.
I'll let you handle this one. You're used to swapping environments.
looking for?
Tampering? Stuff sewn into the fabrics? Needles in the seams, maybe. One time I even found a shoelace snake threaded through the drawstring of some jobber's wrestling trunks. Well, that poor bastard found it. I identified it for the coroner.
I didn't think those were poisonous.
Well, they're not. Not by their own. That one had help. Presumably from our friend Dagger and his alchemical tricks. My theory is that he developed some kind of gene therapy to cause underdeveloped poison.
Can we wrap
glands.
up this rap session, please? Or never?
Is all this science talk intimidating you, Clint? I guess you didn't have any biology classes between all the hymn books and marching drills.
Says the man who dropped out of the 5th grade to go pile around a swamp.
You got something to say? Say it to my face!
Oh, I will say it with this chair to your face.
Let's have ourselves a conversation!
Oh!
Stop! That is enough, goddammit! Do you know how many chairs we've gone through since Trapper's been here? A month's worth at least. And they're not free.
Sorry.
Oh.
Here. I found some. Tucked under the waistband. Almost like it was planted there. There's some markings on it. S, B, D.
Silent but deadly?
Sinister Bryce Dagger.
Well, I'm definitely gonna put 2 pairs of gloves on. These could be poisoned 6 ways from Sunday.
How soon can you know that for sure?
I got everything I need in my van. Could take a couple hours to run the test, then another hour maybe to neutralize the poison, if it's there.
Good. That leaves us with enough time to get them back on Dang before his fight tonight. In the meantime, Hacker, I want you to eyeball Dang's opponent, Shadowy Shiva Stiletto. She'd be the obvious suspect in this scheme, stupid obvious, I know, but just go through with it, just to be thorough.
She has to be a top shelf idiot to be at that bracing. Or working a whole other angle. When Dagger was working the underground luchador scheme, he did things to just screen up for someone to catch him. Not sloppy, just bold. Let's see what Stella has to say for herself.
So, Father, am I forgiven?
That is not up to me, but the sacrament has been performed.
Good! Good. I hope you understand me better now. I'm not essentially evil, you see. I'm just trapped by my old mistakes. Aren't we all?
Yes, an awful lot of people were trapped by your mistakes, Bryce. But perhaps you're the only victim you care about. I worry your redemption will make short work of whatever redemption you might get. Forgiveness is not a magic trick. You must change your ways now and forever, or this ritual would have meant nothing. Do you understand?
I will! Oh, I will change. I just have one more contest to win tonight. One more contract fulfillment, and soon, with my formula perfected, I will have no more need to fight for the devil's amusement.
If you are so confident in your brilliance, why not risk a fair fight? Or better yet, not bother with this contest at all. Have faith in your bet on immortality, and let your contract lapse. Unless you want the battle and the brutality, unless you can't change.
I am not about to risk a work of centuries in a fit of arrogance, Clinton. In the likely event of my brilliance failing me, an imperfect formula might require a month, a year, a lifetime to correct. I don't have the guarantee of that time, and I don't like it any more than you do.
And the young performer you will kill tonight, does he dislike it just as much as you?
Oh, I don't think it will be necessary to kill him. I certainly don't desire to. See, I'm a changed man already. Seriously though, it is so nice that these modern blood sports so rarely require killing. Not like the old times.
Say you succeed in your formulations. Will you share your great discovery with the world? Grant immortality to all?
I believe immortality for all is more your stock in trade, Clinton. I wouldn't want to intrude in your business. No! My earthly immortality is not for everyone. What would the common person do with it? Bumble about it uselessly until the sun grows cold? No! This is a special gift for those whose greatness must exceed natural limits to flourish. A rare breed.
Spare me your sermons, Bryce, and tell me how you plan to end this little meeting. Are you to return me to the rectory at St. Jude's as if nothing has happened? Dump me in the river? Feed me to the congress of your supernatural snake friends?
I like your idea! But no. I shall return you unharmed, as I promised your son. Who knows? I might have another confession for you before my redemption is complete.
And what about my son? He must be on your trail by now. What have you planned for him if he interferes with you?
Oh, I don't think it will be necessary to kill him either. He's not so dangerous. Stubborn, maybe, but so human. His partner, though, might warrant some drastic treatment.
Jake? Is he back together with him?
Yes, your old friend of mine, Jake Trapper. Have you seen him since both of you tried to catch me all those years ago?
After he and Clint Jr. had that disaster trying to catch you 10 years ago, he came around, wanted to catch up. I wouldn't have it. I couldn't risk Clinton knowing my history and yours.
Does your son know about you and Trapper?
No. As far as he knows, I'm just a kindly priest with an uneventful youth. And Trapper is just some Crocodile Dundee wannabe from the Panhandle. And you're just some crook who got away.
Isn't it unlikely to stay that way? With Trapper, anyway. 10 years without aging is already conspicuous, and soon he won't be able to explain it away with healthy eating and skincare.
He'll manage, I suppose. We did. He'll learn to stay moving, to have his stories and his identities, to start planning his life in centuries and not years.
Or he could try to destroy me again, and an excessive longevity won't number among his problems.
I hope he can let that go. A life lived for revenge is an awful waste of a life, especially with as long a life as he might have. Do you suppose that potion of yours he took will wear off eventually?
I would suppose so, yes. I was as close as I got into a perfect formula at the time, but it was still unstable. He could drop dead tomorrow for all I know, and the added complication of him being poisoned when he consumed it, and the likelihood that its preserving powers were exhausted in neutralizing his deadly injury.
If you could find peace together, perhaps you could benefit each other. You are both students of the stake. You both face a precarious immortality.
He might make a fine apprentice if he could stop trying to kill me. Could you perhaps talk some sense into him?
Counsel him to join your vainglorious quest? I think not.
Even to save his life?
There are worse things to become than a corpse, Dagger. Worse things than to die. My own son will die, in the blink of an eye, in our sense of time. That's what people are meant to do. That's why preparation of the soul is the most important thing we can do with our time. Are you listening?
Excellent advice, Father Clinton. For anyone else. I have to cut a reunion short. I sense I'm desired for a rendezvous with your mortal son. My familiars will keep you safe so as long as you stay put. Oh, and don't worry. I'll bring you back to what's left of your ordinary life in a few hours.
If there's still a part of me that wants you dead, that part of me has been all of me for centuries. But the new part of me, the part of me that I am trying to follow, forgives you. If anyone was beyond salvation, it would be you. But you can still choose.
Goodbye, Clinton. I hope your faith in God is as rewarding as my faith in myself. Can I help you?
Yeshiva Stiletto?
That's what it says on the door, isn't it? Mr.
Detective. Detective Clint Hacker. I'm investigating some suspected events around the league. I'm asking some of the talent if they noticed anything.
Suspicious, eh? There are certainly a lot of strange happenings in our profession, Detective. Could you be more specific?
Any strange people moving around? Arriving or leaving at odd hours? Stuff missing or out of place?
Now that you mention it, I did hear about some Ponties going missing.
Where did you hear that?
Oh, whispers here and there. The victim of the mischief is my next opponent, you see. I take great care in knowing useful things about my foes.
Is that so? I must say, I didn't know you existed until a little while ago. I'm used to knowing everything that goes on around this league.
This past week must have been quite vexing for you then, Detective.
And what do you know about last week?
Just this Ponty's business. I've been quite busy this past week, and I am actually about to begin my pre-match final meditation. So if you could be so nice as to conclude this meeting.
You the spiritual type?
Yes, actually, I spent the last few hours talking to a priest. I don't know what you're thinking of doing, or whatever you believe is happening. I'm sure the facts of the situation argue against any rash action. Someone in your position must conduct themselves accordingly.
Listen, you shifty little shit.
No, Detective, you listen. I have fought hard and long to get where I am today. And now, at the edge of my next great victory, I will not let any undue interfere my problems and issues. You know this world, and you know the talent shall have its way, while the functionaries must yield to greatness. Otherwise, there would be no show.
You may be untouchable until the league gets their big money show, but I'm sending my
I'm sure you will, Detective, and whatever it is, I wish you the best of luck. But until then, I need my privacy. Unless you'd like to get named in my suit against the league for judicial treatment, I could probably get a summary decision for that. An automatic victory for me, and an automatic dismissal for you. I don't imagine you're keen to lose another career because of mistakes.
It's Dagger! I just know it! And she knows that I know that she's jerking me around like a sun-nosed 10-point legs of a fly!
Well, can you prove anything?
Not with anything I got right now.
Well, then you'll just have to sit tight. The league has a lot invested in this match, and I'm not gonna fuck it up without any evidence to cover our asses.
Well, and it's a good thing we intercepted those mummies. They are a nasty bit of work.
Not the kind of nasty that scrubs out?
No, the kind that scrubs you out. A bit of sea snake venom mixed with spit and cobra for absorption, swabbed along the edge of the waistband.
Enough to kill?
Maybe. I definitely wouldn't want to find out. But whoever made it took care to make it as undeadly as possible. It's so diluted. Still close to deadly than I tolerate in my drawers.
But when I remember sharing a steak car with you, I say you tolerate them out deadly in your drawers.
Locker room talk. How charming. When I was a little girl, I dreamt that one day, after university and law school, I could end up babysitting 2 grown men with the communication skills of juvenile baboons. Of course I didn't. That would be stupid, even for a child. But here I am. You're probably asking yourself, how does a smart, qualified, hard-charging dame like myself get stuck with the loopy title of wrestling police commissioner? And you're right, except you forgot to add, stunning. But I'll let that slide. You see, I came from a real law and order family. We had judges, prosecutors, DAs, you name it. It was like Blue Bloods, except we had the good sense not to argue at the dinner table. So I figured after I got my law degree and I got well connected, I would be saving the world, defending the powerless, pursuing the wicked, holding the institutions of power to account. I had a good run of it, in court, in City Hall, even a little stint in the governor's office. But you know what? It didn't change a damned thing. The powerless, they're still powerless for the same reasons they always were. And the wicked, they're not dumb. And an awful lot of them can afford better lawyers than the state of Illinois. And as for the institutions of power, let's just say Kafka was an optimist. So did I give up my ideals and adjust to the real world? I might have, until I heard that the Chicago Wrestling League was starting their own police service and they were looking for some top brass. So I figured, why not? The money's good. Not as good as sleazy lawyer money, but it's better than saintly lawyer money, I'll tell you that much. And you know what else? The work is good. This world is good. Yeah, sure, it's fake. It's for show. The fix is in. You want to know where else the fix is in? Every goddamn courtroom and city council and senator's office I've ever been in. At least here, people care about the rules and letting people get what they're due. And it might not be all real, but damn it all means something. And if that means suspending a bit of disbelief now and then, well, that's a fairer compromise than anything the real world asked from me. Let Rome and Tiber melt. Here is my space. Well, here's what's gonna happen. Trapper, have you neutralized the poison?
If it is what I think it is, yeah, I'd say I'm about 95% sure it's safe. That still leaves a pretty fat margin of error.
It'll have to do. Dang won't wrestle without his custom ponties, and we don't have the time to make him a new pair. I'll just have him sign a waiver and we'll all cross our fingers that he doesn't die.
What do we do about Stiletto, Dagger, whoever the fucker is?
I think we should let her think that nothing has changed. Dang will go out wearing his poison ponties, maybe feign a little weak spell, and then we'll see what Stiletto, or Dagger, is planning.
So we tell Dang that Stiletto's fixing the drunken? How do you think he's gonna take that?
I think he's gonna want to tear Shiva out of her dressing room and stomp her like a snake he found in his bed. But I think I can convince him to wait an hour and do his brutalizing in the ring.
I need Dagger alive enough to talk. I do not have any other leads on my dad.
Well, Dang's a professional. If you need Dagger alive, that's how you'll get him. Assuming Shiva is he. I'm gonna go give Dang a final update, and I want you both on standby in case something else goes down before the match.
And the match is about to start as Stiletto enters the ring.
Yeah! A fucking snake! How'd that get there?
Trapper, that's your department.
Get it!
He went over there. There.
That's a quick
It's
one.
coming back around.
Yeah, there. No, he's going around there.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Sorry, Chief. Got away.
Oh, great. I'll be checking my shoes for the next month.
And drop something.
Ew, gross.
It's a note. It's blank. Hacker, it's like the one we found at your dad's church.
There's numbers appearing on the corner. 10, 9, 8.
I don't see nothing.
Give me that. There's a message
Dear
here.
detective, despite what you may think of me, I am a man of my word. And as I promised, I have returned your father safely to his quarters at St. Jude's. Please extend my apologies and hopes of reconciliation to your partner, Jake. He should speak with your father. I think it would be good for both of them. Enjoy the show.
Oh, I think I will. St. Jude's Church, please. It's Clint Hacker Jr., the Monsignor's son. Yeah, I get that a lot. Is the Monsignor in? Yes, I'll hold. Sleeping? No. Don't wake him. I'll be around in a little while. Tell Dang I don't need Dagger alive anymore.
You know I didn't hear that.
Well, just make sure he doesn't hear it too. You coming? I'm gonna check out my own man.
You go on ahead. I'll catch up. I don't want to miss this. If she's who we think she is, this has been a long time coming.
And if she's not who we think she is?
She's still an asshole.
Again, I'm not hearing any of this.
Ding seems to be overcome with something. He's struggling to stay on his feet. I think something is wrong. Shadowy Shiva Stiletto is taking advantage of the opportunity to pound Liu Deng into submission. It's not looking good for the champ, and it's not pretty to watch either. Wait a minute, it looks like Deng is recovering. Deng was sandbagging. He's back in form and reversing Stiletto's attack. Stiletto's really paying for it now. I think this match is going to be over soon. The ref might have to stop it to keep Stiletto out of the board. And now, what's this? A snake? 3 snakes. A whole torrent of snakes are crawling up from under the apron and swarming Deng. He's struggling to fight them off, but they're bringing him to the mat. And Stiletto is crawling under the ropes and out of the ring. She's heading for the lockers, and she's out of here. Stiletto has fled the match, and the medics are tending to the victorious Deng. The snakes appear to have vanished back under the stage. This is the strangest thing any of us have seen in years, folks. Only in wrestling.
Hacker! I mean, Clint! Junior, did you hear?
Been kind of occupied here. What's the news?
Well, Ding was beating the shit out of Dagger.
Nice!
And then a bunch of snakes came out of nowhere and attacked Dang. And Dagger ran off underground. We can't find him.
You won't. What was the outcome of the match?
Well, like I said, he ran off. Dang's pretty chewed up, but he'll be back on the roster in a couple of weeks.
And what was the judge's decision?
Well, Dagger's disqualified, obviously, and Dang got handed the win. Not that all that matters much.
It matters more than you can ever imagine. Dagger has to win, by hook or by crook. What you've just witnessed is him finally losing his immortality.
So I can kill him now.
Well, you could always kill him. He wasn't invincible, just immune from the wasting of disease and age, like you.
I wonder why you didn't look much different in 10 years.
He hasn't looked any different in 50 years, Clinton. You're not the first Clint Hacker to call Jack Trapper his partner.
And not the smartest either.
You've got a lot of explaining to do!
We both do. But you have to understand, everything we kept from you all these years was either too dangerous to know or too crazy to believe. Or both.
Nobody tells me a goddamn thing.
Language, Clinton! No wonder you didn't last the seminary!
So, are we gonna be meeting Dagger again? Now that he's mortal, will he still be pulling this freak show Addams Family stuff?
He's mortal today, but he was close to achieving his immortality by his own means. Now the clock is ticking on the time to perfect his means. If anything, he's more desperate now. But without the need for trial by combat anymore, who knows? Maybe he'll settle down.
I still want a piece of him.
Jake, You might not have all the time you think to chase your revenge. You might want to think about living a life free from Bryce Dagger, if you can remember how.
Huh, like you?
Not exactly like me, but close enough. Clinton, could you get me some tea? I think there's a kettle on the table outside.
All right.
How much have you told him?
Enough to know your history, a little of mine. He got quite a kick out of knowing I used to be a cop.
And what about Dagger?
Enough to stay out of trouble. I hope Bryce can change. But if he succeeds with his designs, though, he could become even worse.
Here you go.
Well, thank you. Clinton, how much about the past do you want to know?
All of it. I know enough to be on Dagger's shit list. I might as well go all in.
All right, but you might regret this. Now, before I get into the metaphysical stuff, let's start with your mother.
You know who she is? Is she still alive?